All right, hey, Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.
And we'd like to start out by giving our honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua Bahashem Rakakwadash. Hey, don't our apostles, great millstone rule well, and peace and blessing to the house of David the elect. We are the Hebrew Israelites out here once again to condemn this wicked empire. All right, and we are with the Memphis camp. All right, so we are the Mississippi camp with the Memphis camp, man. And we are here once again to prophesy in these final moments of this wicked empire, man. This wicked kingdom. All right? We're here to prophesy the downfall of a place that was prophesied to be destroyed in the Bible. If you ever read the book of Revelations, we're living in the book of Revelations. If you ever read about the Babylon the Great, we're living in Babylon the Great. It's called America. All right? What's up?
It's the book of Luke, the book of Matthew, chapter 10, starting at verse 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Hey, I thought the Lord loved everybody and came for everybody.
Right.
You've been in church 50 years and don't know what the scripture says.
That's right.
All right, can you read that again from the top?
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles,
right,
and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Because what you didn't know, based on something called, what's it called, replacement theory? Is it called vocab alone? You got a replacement theory?
Yeah, okay.
Is that when the Messiah came back, all right, the salvation was extended to all the nations.
Yeah.
All right, but that's a lie. That's not in the scriptures. Pursuant to Matthew 10, Yahushua gave a strict commandment. Go not into the way of the Gentiles, man, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. In order to understand the Bible, you have to understand your history. You have to understand these 14 books. These 14 books called the Apocrypha, they close the gap. Mainly the book of Maccabees. All right, because from the Babylonian Empire to the Persian, Medo-Persian Empire, another empire came into place that you don't know about when you read Matthew. The Greco-Roman Empire. And it went into the Grecians taking over, but then it transitioned into the Roman Empire. And that's how you had the Romans taking over, and by the time you get into the book of Matthew, in the book of Acts, all you hear about is the Roman Caesars. We have no king but Caesar. So how'd you go from the Medo-Persian Empire, all right, you know, the book of Daniel, to we have no king but Caesar in the book of Matthew. See, but then it said we'd rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. What happened that caused us to be scattered? Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah 50 and 6. And it says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
My people have been lost sheep. They're leaders. Your shepherds are your leaders. Your preachers. T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar. But going back then, our people have been lost sheep, man. Because we were scattered through captivities. There were physical captivity. Can you get 50 and 17? Jeremiah 50 and 17. There were physical captivities that caused us to be scattered. That's why it says, there's an epistle called to the Hebrews, and an epistle to the Romans, and an epistle to the Ephesians. But then in James 1 and 1, it says what? To the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Yep. I'll get it real quick, then we'll get Jeremiah 50 and 17.
This James 1 and 1. James, a servant of the Most High, and our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greeting.
Your preacher don't read that. It was specifically to the 12 tribes. Dummy. Even when you write a letter in school, they teach you to write a letter, it tells you specifically who you write that letter to.
You gotta address something.
To and from. Yep. When you send an email, dear specific person. Yep. All right? All right.
Yeah, I got two for you.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, this is Matthew 18 and 11, and it states, for the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost.
So how can you be lost in your native land? If you were scattered to Rome, how can you call an Edomite Roman lost when that's his native land?
That's right.
And we were scattered to America as strangers. How can you call an American, it's supposed to be your land, an Edomite, lost? This is your native land, right?
Right.
So we were scattered to the different nations. Can you read that again?
Hey, This is Matthew 18 and 11. For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost.
Yep.
Can I hit you real quick?
Yep.
Matthew 15 and 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
The lost sheep of the house of Israel, going back to Jeremiah 50 and 17, Babakashah.
In the book of Jeremiah 50 and 17, Israel is a scattered sheep.
A scattered sheep. That's a physical scattering. Yeah, we're mentally or spiritually lost. That's why Jacob's a part of every religion and cult and organization. But you're literally lost.
And that's the symbolism of a sheep.
Yep.
An animal that is easily led.
Yep. That's why we didn't have 26 presidents now.
Yeah.
It's 2020. You still vote for a damn president? Why? Because you need a shepherd. All your shepherds will lead you astray. And it said that in Jeremiah 50 and 6, man. All your leaders led your ass astray, man.
Back in Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 17, Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away.
The lions have driven him away. Go ahead, those are different kings, man. The Assyrians, the Babylonians, all right?
It said, first the king of Assyria have devoured him.
Yep, started with the northern kingdom, who you call the so-called Hispanic and Native Americans. To the point where we were so zealous about the laws that we left Assyria and went to America to keep the laws. That's why you had a 10 Commandments stolen, lost through New Mexico.
Right.
That's why you have Assyrian Hebrew in the Americas. That's why you have pictures of so-called Native Americans with fringes. That's why you have pictures of so-called Seminole Indians from the tribe of Reuben with a turban on, man. First the king of Assyria, go ahead.
It says, first the king of Assyria have devoured him, and last this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, have broken his bones.
Yeah. Now can you go back to Matthew 10 and 16? Now we got context about scattered sheep. I'm sorry, 1 second. Go ahead, bro.
And then, like, going back into their history, you know, when we was going into this week, you know, when the Syrian king Shalmaneser V, when he took down the northern kingdom, he actually took them from Samaria and put them in what they would call Iraq of today. He scattered them through that region of Iraq, you know, in the Mesopotamian area over there by the Persian Gulf, man. So a lot of those Iraqis and, you know, what you see, Iran and Syria, them actual Israelites, man. But they were displaced and put into that land, man.
And then let's fast forward that way. 1,000 years, 1,400 years, with the global slave trade. So you had slave people, Jake from the Southern Kingdom sent to Baghdad, Iraq. Because the proof of that, go on YouTube and you can look up black in Baghdad, black in Iraq. So you might have actual Israelites, basically what he just said, calling the Southern Kingdom brothers niggas. Yep. Really, they're both Israelites.
Both Israelites.
You know?
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 10. I'm going to read verse 7. I'll jump down. You say verse 16. Okay. Matthew 10 and 6. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, man. So now we have context when Yahweh says go to the lost sheep. Or James 1:1 to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Now we got a little context, man. The Babylonian captivity, the Assyrian captivity. All right, go ahead real quick.
It's Isaiah 10, starting at verse 10. And in that day, there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
Yahweh Shai.
Yep.
Yahweh Shai is their root. The rest starts with this truth, man.
Hey,
All
going
right.
to what you were saying, Yahweh Shai came to save that which was lost. You see? Because when you read down to go into the prophecy of our people being scattered, being gathered,
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time.
The second time. Who did he set his hand out for the first time?
Israel.
All right. Who did chariots aid in the escape the first time? Because his hand goes into Yahweh Shai. All right. Who did Yahweh Shai? Because Yahweh Shai was that death angel back in Egypt. So who did Yahweh Shai extend his hand to the first time? The Israelites. So how there's only one nation that he can extend his hand out to a second time, man. You know, you can't get around it. That's why Christians don't like prophecy, man. You know, because prophecy is direct. So in the New Testament, they take the words like whosoever, all, and world, and make a whole doctrine out of it, man. But they can't do that with the prophecy, man. You know?
And it reads that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
Hey, the remnant of his people, man. Hey, man, that's what makes the salvation so glorious. He's coming to these different land masses to deliver specific people, man. It's jewels, man.
That's right. All right. It says, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush.
Now when you go to Revelation 7 and 9, that great multitude, now that makes sense.
Different nations, kindreds, and tongues.
Those are all referencing Israelites.
Scattered Israelites.
Because they were scattered due to what? The curses spoken of in Deuteronomy 28:15. Jump down to what? 24:25. It tells you in the 25th chapter that he was going to scatter us throughout the four corners. No, in the 25th
28 chapter 25th verse.
Yeah. He stated that he was going to scatter us throughout the the kingdoms throughout the earth. These are Israelites, man. Israelite foreigners.
Hey,
You know?
and then
Go ahead.
Baba Shah, read the landmass again, Baba Shah.
Okay, what scripture will we pull up?
He just
Oh,
want me
I'm
to
sorry.
keep reading the
Keep
landmass.
reading. That's the same scripture. He gonna pull the landmass in.
Okay.
So this Isaiah 11 and 11 again, it says, and it shall come to pass that in that day the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam.
You know, Cush was the original, all right, landmass of the Cushite kingdom under Nimrod. That was over there by Iraq, man.
Yep.
You see? Go ahead.
It says, and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea.
And Shinar, he goes into Elam, man. You see? And when you go into Kings, matter of fact, let's link it up. Let's get there, the King 17,
Second Kings 17.
22. And listen to the similarity of these land masses, man. You know? Because at the end of the day, this is a book of history, man. An actual history. These things actually happen, man. You know? It's not no book, fictitious book, man. No, it actually happened. Go ahead and get there.
2 Kings 17:22. This is 2 Kings 17 and 22. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, they departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he said by all his servants the prophets.
I say something. The sight is talking about what? The land.
Land.
Because I always on Israel.
There you go.
Yeah, bro.
It says, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria until this day.
To Assyria, keep reading.
Verse 24, and the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cutha and from Ayur and from Hamath and from Sephrim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria. Okay. Instead of the children of Israel.
Hey, so when you think about that, you think about the scripture, what's that in John the 4th chapter? The woman at the well. Yeah, she was a heathen. That's why she couldn't receive that living water, because Yahweh Shah understood the history.
That was all him, man.
There you go, bro.
Hey, that's why he told him in Matthew 10th chapter not to go
Into the way of the Samaritans.
because it was Israelites amongst them, but the apostles weren't on the level yet to discern it.
Yeah.
You know, Yahweh Shai knew because he had the spirit without measure. It wasn't until what they call it, Pentecost. You know, the apostles endowed with that spirit. Then you had to go into the deeds, and then Apostle Paul was raised up. You know?
And then if you want to just get it just a tad bit deeper, Yahushua was the first one to go to the Gentiles,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
And John the 4th chapter.
Yeah.
That's when he used that woman to basically teach to those Israelites over there. But at the same time frame, they was looked at as heathens. You know? Yeah, get
John
the
4. You want to finish reading this?
Yeah.
Now it says, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof.
Yep. So who possessed Samaria? Those people from those land masses, man. You know, Patros, what is Patros going to?
It says in the Bible, this is encyclopedia.com, in the Bible, Patros is named as a region where Jewish communities existed both before and after the fall of Jerusalem. Patros is considered the original home of the Egyptians.
Original home of the Egyptians, man.
Now where did Yahushua go? When they was running from
He went to Egypt.
Yeah, he went to Egypt.
Because they had Hebrew communities
There
in
you go.
Egypt.
And it started with this scattering, man.
That's right.
You see? That's why you if you don't know geography, if you don't know history, then when you get into the New Testament, like Christianity try to open up the New Testament and make a doctrine out of whosoever. But what about all this history? And the Bible tells you the land masses, then the prophecies naming the same land masses. Man. You see?
That's why I say the things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. You know, you got to seek out the history of these accounts that's written in the Bible in order to get a thorough understanding, man.
No.
Otherwise, you're just gonna be talking chicken shit. You know?
A lot of piano playing.
Yeah.
This is John chapter 4, starting at verse 13.
That's right.
Yahushua answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again.
Yeah, the spiritual water, going into what? The truth, the word. Go ahead.
It says, But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life.
So in a nutshell, this living water does what? It nourishes the spirit. Okay? Physical water can't do that. Only this living water, which is located inside of the Holy Scriptures. Go ahead.
It says, the woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw.
Right,
Yahushua saith unto her, Go call thy husband and come hither.
right.
The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahushua said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband, for thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband.
Go ahead.
And that saidest thou truly.
So basically, Yahushua was calling her a hoe on the slick. Go ahead, though.
The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is a place where men ought to worship.
Bible shop. That word father, brother, you didn't do that. Because Jacob take that and say, she said our fathers, you know? Well, father doesn't actually mean lineage in that context, and we're going to deal with it, man. You know? Because she said her father, you know, but she's not of the lineage of Israel, man. You know? The patriarchs are not her father. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are our father. You know?
And then, you know, my fathers, then you go back to first Ezra, you had the heathen up there. You had the heathen up there worshiping that mountain. But they weren't Israelites.
Right,
You know?
right. Yep, right. Really? Okay. According to the Greek for father,
We'll go to see. The metaphor, then go to see.
okay, it's parterre, and it states metaphor see what?
Right there.
A title of honor.
A title of honor. You see? Just like they'll say T.I. the godfather of trap, or Chief Keef is the godfather of drill music.
Yeah.
We're not related to him, but it's just a title of honor, you know? And the heathens knew the honor that the Israelites had back in his glory, man. You know? So she said her fathers, the heathens were there worshiping, you know? But she said, did you say Jacob?
Yeah.
It says, Our fathers worshipped in this mountain,
Yep.
and ye say that in Jerusalem is a place where men ought to worship.
Got another definition for
Yeah.
it. This is 1B. A more remote ancestor, the founder of a family or tribe, progenitor of a people, forefather. So Abraham is called Jacob and David.
Yep. So then you know, all right, that the fathers, all right, the true fathers are Israelites. But in her stance, it just be a title of honor.
That's right.
Just giving Israel a title of honor. You know?
She thinks she could be grafted in.
Yeah.
You know, because of a belief system.
Verse 21, Yahushua saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what.
Right.
We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
For salvation is of the Jews. And the reason why she didn't get this living water, because she was a heathen, but Yahushua still used her as an instrument to push the word. Go ahead, bro.
But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers
Which are Israelites. Go ahead.
when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him.
Right. Now jump down to 39.
Jumping down to 39.
John 4:39.
John 4:39. And many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him for the saying of the woman, which testified, he told me all that ever I did.
Keep going.
So when the Samaritans were come unto him, they besought him that he would tarry with them.
These are Israelites. And the reason why they believed, because they were Israelites. The Most High gave them their gift to believe. Go ahead. So Yahushua was the first apostle that basically taught the word to the Gentile foreigners, which were Israelites. Go ahead.
And he abode there 2 days.
Why did he stay there 2 days? These were not heathens right here. So he used her to teach to the he used her to teach to the Israelite foreigners. Go ahead, bro.
And many more believed because of his own word.
And the reason why they believed, because they were Israelites.
I got it.
Okay.
Because then if you go into the history, niggas in the Josephus, you had Israelites actually in Samaria, but they are very heathen women. You know? So, just to give, that historical context.
Right.
This is all dark skinned people.
Yep.
Right.
And like those imported them, you had Jacob and mainly the Southern Kingdom that was still in that area.
So why would Yahushua was a nationalist and a racist? You worship you though not for the salvation of the Jews.
Right.
You know?
So why would he terrorist heathens 2 days?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense.
Build his ministry.
That make him a hypocrite.
Right.
That makes sense why when you Christians speak your doctrine, you sound hypocritical.
This is Tobit 13:3. Confess him before the Gentiles,
Confess him before the Gentiles. Go ahead.
ye children of Israel,
Sons of Israel, go ahead.
for he hath scattered us among them.
Cosmo, get your precepts out.
I got
Go ahead.
back in Isaiah 11, this is Isaiah 11 and 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations.
The ensign is a token, a sign. And it began when Yahushua. You see? Go ahead.
And shall assemble the outcast of
Shall
Israel.
assemble the outcasts of Israel. Why was they outcasts? Because going back to the history that the one was speaking of, when you go into the Greeks, all right, you go into the Greek period, the Maccabean period, because the Pharisees and Sadducees came out of the Maccabean revolt. A lot of the Pharisees were descendants of their Maccabean generation, man. That's why they were so serious about the law. And all of them weren't wicked. You had wicked scribes and Pharisees, but some of them, they were just so strict with the law because they seen what straying away from the law did to Jake. Jake was putting their foreskin back on his penis, wrestling naked, exercising naked, running naked and shit, man. So they was considered outcasts. That's why you read the book of Maccabees, they was killing those wicked niggas for doing that, man. That's how the whole revolt started. Mattathias killed the nigga for sacrificing a pig on the altar, man. You see?
And you got a book called Ancient Greece, and it shows you Israelites sacrificing a pig on the altar before the game. And you didn't have straight up Jake, black carvings, icons of Jake sacrificing. To illustrate their context.
And they do that now. At these pre-games.
Yep.
They be with fucking call it, barbecuing pigs.
Tailgating.
Tailgating.
And then even at the Apollo, they had a ritual at the Apollo. Harlem Apollo, they come in and rub their little wooden altar in that before, you know. Where, you know, it's pagan, man.
All that shit pagan.
Got that at First
It says, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
You gotta think Judah, all right, with the southern kingdom, you know, the ministry started over there. It was just Judah in that land because the word had to come, you know, to Judah first,
Yep.
you know, and then it went to the other tribes, you know, then it went to the Israelite foreigners. Hey, but going back to during the time, you know, of the Maccabees, they was looking at them Israelites that were Hellenized like there's no way possible they could come back. You know, that's why the Pharisees were so offended at Yahweh. They were like, there's no way possible. They hated, you know, Yahweh, mainly the Apostle Paul. They was on them so tough, they were like, there's no way that they still can inherit the promise of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The southern kingdom that was in the land, they thought they was the remnant.
Yeah, they thought
You know? They were like, look, we still here, we keep the customs, we keep the law, we got the temple, sacrifice. There's no way that these Ephesians and Galatians can be partakers. And see how Shai came together, the outcasts, man. They were outcasts from amongst their brethren.
Now that makes sense when you go to Romans 11 chapter. When the scripture says because of their unbelief, you're able to be grafted back in. So the Most High balance it all out. Just to back you up.
He said he was going to provoke them to jealousy.
Foolish people.
Jeremiah 3, we start 22. Return ye backsliding children, and I will heal you backsliders. Behold, we come unto thee, for thou art the Lord our power. Truly in vain is salvation hopeful. Jeremiah 3:23. Truly in vain is salvation hopeful from the hills and from the multitude of mountains. Truly in the Lord our power is the salvation of Israel.
Yeah, that's what our people do. You know, they believe in these other philosophies. They believe in Joe Biden, they believe in Trump, they believe in this American system. They believe in going to college. Anything that's outside of the truth, 2/3 of our people are all for it. But at the end of the day, what does it do? Because our people, although they climb that ladder and attain some form of American success, but from a spiritual side, they're dehydrated. They're not happy. How can you be a millionaire but you're still not happy? You don't have that spiritual brain.
And it says it's a vain thing for these other nations to hope for salvation from Yahweh Shai. You know, you might as well live your own life and pray out your own gods, because there's no way that he's coming to save the heathen, man. You know, those laws, statutes, and commandments, as it said, what, Psalms 147 and 19, he only showed unto the nation of Israel in the house of Jacob. Man.
The irony is, we were taught Christianity, and Christianity did away with our heritage and the covenant and promise with Israel, the kingdom, right? It did away with that. The irony was, Christianity taught Edomite supremacy. So when you think about it, Christianity basically said, no, we're the chosen. You can come in as the heathen, but we're the chosen. That's the irony in it. You know?
He sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High.
Zechariah 9:6.
Even when I look at the word Pathros, I had a damn picture of an Edomite. Christianity just feeds into Edomite supremacy, man. And you're the heathen that converted into Christianity, and that's how you got it.
Right.
You're the savage, and that's part of the doctrine of Edomite supremacy. European colonization. We went around the world teaching these pagans and savages Christianity, man. That's why a nigga said when we first started doing camp in Mississippi, a nigga was like, ain't it bad? That's why Uncle Tom Jake was like, wasn't it a good thing that they brought us over here in America? He fell for that deception. He was a pagan before Esau gave him that Christianity, man. Esau elevated you, man. Go ahead, bro.
Psalms 119 and 155, salvation is far from the wicked, but they seek not their statutes.
But wicked, you don't keep the laws. The nations that don't keep the laws, that naturally makes them wicked. Salvation is, ultimately it's Esau. Salvation is far from a damn Edomite.
That's right. That's right, because they use a satanic vibration. You know, that's what upholds captivity. They believe in Satan.
Well, you always go into that. You people marvel at Esau's empire, his kingdom, but he got it because he tapped into Satan.
Yeah.
He started with the elites.
Yeah.
Those were the what do you call it? The 13 Illuminati families.
That's right.
What do you call it? The Knights Templar. Go back to the worship of Satan.
That's right.
They did the same thing Egypt was doing when they was in power.
They just modified and perfected.
They modified and perfected. Now, the most I said, well, our raised at the tabernacle of David. Now we're going into our source.
That's right.
We're going into the Most High.
That's right.
You know?
And I'm gonna jump down to 175.
You know?
Let my soul live, and it shall praise thee, and let that judgment help me. I have gone astray like a lost sheep.
Right.
Seek thy servant, for I do not forget thy commandments.
Right.
Seek thy servant. Who sought, their sheep, Yahweh Shah. He started their foundation, of searching for the lost sheep of Israel. That's why when Elder Abu Bivens, all right, with the spirit of Yahweh Shah was upon him, that's why he went into teaching of Yahweh Shah. Now you have the sheep being searched out again throughout the earth.
That's right.
But before the spirit of Yahweh Shah was in the earth, the sheep of Israel weren't being searched out.
That's right.
And the reason why Elder Abu Bivens did it is he came back as John the Baptist. He came back as John the Baptist, man. As a herald for Yahweh Shah. Right before Yahweh Shah was the herald John the Baptist. So right before Yahweh Shah comes again, John the Baptist came, man.
Got you.
Preparing the way, man.
Malachi 4 and 5. Behold,
Yep, go ahead.
I was sent. You had it. Hey, we'll get the other one. There's one in the book of John. Matthew 11. Yeah, get that one. Malachi 4 and 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord, Yahweh.
He came back.
Yeah.
1969.
Yeah,
All right? And then who came after him? The apostles.
that's right.
Because then Yahweh Shah grew the apostles. So no new thing is under the sun.
That's right.
All right, the apostles came after John the Baptist in this setup, man.
It lets you know in two different time periods. Because that's great and dreadful.
Yeah.
That's two different, that's polar opposites.
That's talking about
two
this
different
time
spirits.
Now.
The dreadful time is now.
Now.
Yep.
Now.
What he say in Habakkuk, I should not meet thee as a man. Isaiah 47, Isaiah 47. So he said, I shall not meet thee as a man. That's going into that account when we come back. We come back as a lion, not a man.
Yeah. So Elijah had to come back as Abba Bivens to be that forerunner again, to prophesy before that dreadful day, before Yahweh shall return. All right, back in the scripture, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Yep.
And what's the curse? That destruction. That final destruction, which is going to happen simultaneously when Yahweh shall is returning. Okay? And you heard about the definition Apostle Devar did going into trifecta. When you break that term down, tri means three. Factor means basically counting from 1 to 3 in a correct format. So basically, it's just really three main prophecies that has to transpire before Yahweh shall return. And I get that.
Then John the Baptist, Elijah, converted us back to our nationality.
That's right.
So the hearts back to our fathers.
Yeah.
Going back to Jeremiah 6, study the old paths. Where's your fathers?
That's right.
Because he said that we're degenerate mind. If you go to the word degenerate, it means departing from an ancestral standard.
That's what it means.
So now we're turning back to our ancestral standard, which is the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father.
Matthew 11 and 9. But what when ye out for to see? A prophet? Yeah, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. For this is he, of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee.
So who was that? So somebody had to prepare Yahweh Shah's way. Somebody had to be that herald for Yahweh Shah.
Would he have to be a man of the Lord?
Yes, sir.
So Yahweh Shah the Lord just gonna set up any old man to prepare the way before him?
Yeah.
He's not in the truth, but he prepared the way.
He said he's much more than the
He's
prophet.
much more than a prophet. But he
Which also makes him what? An apostle.
Come on, man.
Because he was sent forth before Yahweh Shah to do what? To prepare his way. So he was an apostle before the apostles.
Y'all got a lot to pay for on that blasphemy.
Oh boy.
Man, everybody say, he said, everybody say, my feet, he couldn't feel his feet.
Yeah, laces,
He wasn't worthy to tie his shoelace.
yeah.
Action on the sound. That humility.
That's right.
It's Matthew 11:11. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women that had no reason greater than John the Baptist, notwithstanding that he that is least in the
I was
kingdom.
trying to vouch for John the Baptist.
Yeah.
He will vouch for, somebody that will eventually fall out. No, man. All right? There are particular spirits that the Most High, hold very dear to him, man. But what he say, in Jeremiah, though Moses and Samuel stand before me, my heart cannot be for these people. Showing that those are two spirits that he has in high esteem, man.
That's right.
And then he has Yahweh in the higher esteem of both of them, man.
And then when he did the transfiguration, who did he show?
Yeah. What that represents? That's right. So what does that mean? He was above both.
And he said that John the Baptist was Elijah. So
So it has to be a certain thing as what reincarnation.
Because like going back to trifecta, the three. So if you say John the Baptist was the man of the Lord, you say Elijah was the man of the Lord, and you say
Our business was the man of the Lord.
Damn, that's it.
it's the same spirit.
The same
So
spirit.
you gonna be a man of the Lord, one reincarnation, and then come work. Spirits of prophets,
That's right.
So Elijah came back to John the Baptist by default.
Yeah, come on. 1 Corinthians 14 and 32. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets.
So you are who you are before you get here, based on the spirit. All right, that's why history continues to repeat itself, because it's the same spirits coming back upon earth. There's no new thing under the sun, man. Go ahead.
Baby, you been thinking that that song Jay-Z got? He said, man, you was who you was
Before you got here.
Back in Matthew 11:11, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, they had not reason greater than John the Baptist.
Right.
Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom
So he that is least in the kingdom,
of heaven is greater than he.
you know how much esteem 144 would get? Now remember, John the Baptist is going to be part of that 144. He's going to be in that higher, that hierarchy of the 144. But at the end of the day, the scripture states that the 144, the least in the kingdom, is going to be greater than John the Baptist. That's some esteem right there.
And then you got these guys trying to say because he got beheaded, he was going out. But what about the scripture say about the prophecy of the men that's going to be martyrs? So we going to be martyrs because we went out?
All the apostles put the death list up for John the Revelator.
Come on, man.
Why is that? Because when you go into martyr, it means what? Nomen omen. A martyr is a person that dies for the doctrine he believes in. So John the Baptist was beheaded for doing what was right. For the truth, he was a martyr, which is a nomen omen, just like a pilot. A nomen omen for a pilot is what? A football player, I'm gonna catch a ball. Now when it comes to a prophet, I'm a prophesy. But within that prophecy, if you're labeled as a martyr, that means you're gonna be put to death.
I will be with you.
Hey, man, they say in Psalms, question
Same way.
the sight of the Lord.
Yeah.
Like, they
I was finna get it, but you got it, bro.
you can get it. The scripture say better than I can.
Cock it back, y'all shoot it, yo.
Matthew 11:11. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, that had not risen greater than John the Baptist, notwithstanding he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he.
He that is least in the kingdom, hey, that's enough said right there, will be greater than John the Baptist, man. And what Yahweh shall say in Matthew 19 and 27, everything that you have forsaken on this side in the regeneration, when the Son of Man is judging the 12 tribes, you will receive 100-fold.
Psalms 116 to 15. Precious in the sight of the Most High is the death of his saints.
Hey, how do you show the ultimate faith? By walking through death.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Hey, well, let's bring it out. The Most High Yahweh Shah, when they saw Stephanie get stoned, they both stood up.
Yeah.
And that was an inspiration that motivated Stephanie.
How do you know? What the scripture states?
Yeah,
He saw them.
Yep.
He saw them.
So you don't understand the nature of the Most High. You don't understand the Most High, man. That's the ultimate way. That's the ultimate way. You die for this word.
Satan don't like that.
Beelzebub in this bitch.
Yeah.
Beelzebub means Lord of the Flies.
Yep.
Beelzebub in this bitch, man. But, hey, yeah, that's the ultimate way. That's the most honorable. Like Jake want to die for their game, some dummy game. The honorable way to go out on this earth is to go out for the Most High.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Hey, like I said this too. You got, the 7 brothers that died in the Maccabees.
Yeah.
They died for not denouncing Yahweh Shah.
Yeah.
They took a death.
Yeah.
So they would denounce Yahweh Shah. They would the king's meat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the same way by being this truth. You cannot just give up Yahweh Shah or Yahweh Shah for this world.
That's right.
If you're in this truth, you're not.
That's right.
And that's how it's gonna be.
That's right.
And that's how the apostles was and the disciples back in the day. They stood for the name of Yahweh Shah and what it meant for.
That's right.
And those men have a legacy to this day.
Yeah.
Right? You know, the elder was the elder.
Yeah, everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, he has a legacy to this day. You know, all the apostles have a legacy to this day. You know, for what they did. You know, the ones that were put to death. That's a legacy. How Shah being crucified is part of his legacy.
That's right.
You see?
Hey, can I back a touch on them? This is 2 Maccabees 7. I'm going to get straight to the point. 7:14. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, it is good being put to death by man to look for hope from the Most High.
That goes to show you, Elder, you like to get into this, that he understood the process of reincarnation. When you understand the process of reincarnation, death is not scary. Death is nothing but Uber, all right? From this realm to the spiritual realm. It's nothing but Uber, man.
You leaving your earthly tabernacle.
That's right. That's right.
Because what did it say? If this earthly house be dissolved,
That's right.
you know, you have a house made by the, made without hands, man.
That's celestial.
Celestial
Even
body.
Apostle Paul was what to die to gain.
That's right.
Hey, Apostle Paul was like, you know, to die, it'd be good for me. But the only reason I'm living is for y'all.
That's right.
You know, we're talking about the church. But he said, if I had a choice, I'd be with Yahweh Shah.
That's right.
Hey,
You
Job
know?
said the same thing. You know?
Hey, in the very same commission in Matthew the 10th chapter where we brought out, check what he say. Check what he say to the disciples. Matthew 10:28. And fear not them which kill the body,
Right.
but are not able to kill the soul.
Right, so man can put you to death, okay, but at the end of the day, man can't do anything to your spirit. But the Most High can put you in hell. Meaning what? You could be 30-some years old and had total access to your body, and all of a sudden you get in a car wreck and you paralyzed from the neck down. That's hell, man.
You know, like amongst Elon,
Jacob Blake.
no, it's not, bro. Amongst Elon, you got 23-year-olds that's stuck in the body of an infant.
Yep.
You know, they'll be 23 years old. That's hell.
That's hell.
You're 23 years old, but you're stuck in the infant's body.
Yeah, is that like that shit, they movie with Brad Pitt? Is that a real
talking about that
condition?
Benjamin
When they
Button
went
type
backwards,
shit?
nah,
At
it was-
his age?
I seen some.
That's some real
I think
shit.
that's some real shit. I seen this dude. He's 12 years old. He's about 12 years old. He had an old
He
face.
looked old as
He
fuck.
looked old as
Yeah.
fuck. I think that shit.
Yeah. If Esau got that shit out there in the movie, there's a pretty good chance that shit exists, man. I just ain't did enough study
Yeah,
yet
me neither. That's
to support it. But he's right. The guy, the motherfucker looked like he was swell by the body, but the face like a hungry kid.
Yeah, he was old as fuck.
Yeah.
But the point being, the Most High can fuck you up worse than death.
Yeah.
Like death ain't the worst that can happen to you. You know, the Most High can, man, do some have you alive and you wish you was dead and you ain't died.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
hell.
That's hell.
That's hell.
Even on a baby level, man, you ever had an abscess, like a tooth infection that hit your nerves, right? And that's hell, man. If it's the top level of severity, you know, that's hell,
I
man.
never had it, but I witnessed it.
Yeah.
Witnessed a lot of brothers cry like men.
Yeah, when a man shed them tears, he catch your hell. You know?
Yeah. So back in Maccabees, 2 Maccabees 7:14. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, it is good being put to death by man
Right.
to look for hope for the Most High,
To look for hope to the Most High. Go ahead.
to be raised up again by him.
To be raised up again by Him. So, hey, that's reincarnation. Okay, and it's a difference between reincarnation and the resurrection. Okay.
He say, it's for thee that shall have no restoration to life. Also, Sirach 41:3, he said, fear not the sentence of death, man.
Jump to the mother part. The mother part? The mother part? Yeah.
Okay, jump down to 20. But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory. For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she buried with a good courage.
So, meaning what? Hey, she saw that, she processed it, but she still continued on. Go ahead.
Because of the hope that she had in the Lord.
Because of her belief in the Lord. Go ahead.
Yeah.
If I can add, that's why we don't trip over family members like death that we don't mourn long. You know, it's like we gotta be like elastic. We just bounce right back because we understand where they at. They in the spirit realm. You know, they out of this hell that we gotta endure. You know, which Lord willing, we here for a higher calling to endure. But hey, they ain't thinking about their problems. They ain't thinking about what I'm gonna eat today, when I'm gonna get my next check. You know, they at peace, man.
And there were zombies anywhere.
They was zombies.
If you think about it, I don't mean to be wicked or nothing, but hey, they were zombies.
You wasn't in the truth.
You weren't, yeah,
You
exactly.
didn't fear the Most High.
Yeah.
So your life is really in vain. And it tells you in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, they're going to be taken who were created in vain.
That's right, yeah.
That the multitude perished in.
Yeah.
That were
Created in vain.
Yep.
And if you rejecting your house, what are you doing?
That's right.
You want to be a musician and die?
worthless.
Play basketball and die like Kobe supposedly?
Yeah, worthless.
All right, so you're vain. Like, what was your, like you said, if you don't have no purpose, then you're worthless.
As a matter of fact, I got a precept bag up too.
He said, let the dead bury the dead.
Yup, I got one in 1 Thessalonians.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
This is Sirach 22 and 11. Weep for the dead, for he hath lost the light, and weep for the fool, for he wanteth understanding. Make little weeping for the dead, for he is at rest.
Because he's in the spiritual world. He's in the third heaven or the fourth dimension. So he's at rest. Hey, somebody get the account when Apostle Paul was stoned, and when he saw Stevens? No, Apostle Paul, when he went to the third heaven.
Oh, 2 Corinthians 12.
Yeah, get that. Get that. Just about you up, bro.
Finishing it up, it says, but the life of the fool is worse than death.
Oh, read that again.
It says, but the life of the fool is worse than
The
death.
life of a fool is worse than death. Hey, Tom's going to get Luke 23 and 43. Because when you go into that term fool, what does it mean? Empty-handed. Meaning what? You lack wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. So you're lost. Okay? All right, get there. Just back to brother.
It says second.
Yeah, 1 Corinthians 12 and 1. Yep.
1 Corinthians 12 and 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you.
2 Corinthians. That's why he's the other. It's 2 Corinthians 12 and 1. Water, bro.
Got a book right here.
All right, go ahead, bro.
This is Book of Job, chapter 3.
Oh, yeah.
Job 3. And,
16,
17. Okay, yeah. 3 and 17. It said, there the wicked cease from troubling.
Dare the wicked cease from troubling. Go ahead.
And they let you know ain't no hell doctrine too.
That's
Where
right.
you put on the ground.
That's right.
And there the weary be at rest.
Dare the weary be at rest. Hey, keep going, though, bro.
And it says, there the prisoners rest together.
So the prisoners are there. Go ahead.
They hear not the voice of the oppressor.
They're not being oppressed. Go ahead.
The small and great are there,
The small and great, go ahead, talk about status. Go ahead.
and the servant is free from his master.
And the servant is free from his master. This location is talking about the spirit world, man. All right? Now, get that. 2 Corinthians.
That's 2 Corinthians 12:1. It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory.
Right?
I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord. I knew a man in Hamasha above 14 years ago. Whether in the body, I cannot tell,
He was talking about himself in third person.
That's right.
or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. The most I know it. Such as one caught up to the third heaven.
Right, the third heaven. Also what? The spirit world, also called what? The fourth dimension. And the reason why it's called the fourth dimension, because think about this. On earth, you have three dimensions. You got up, down, side to side, you got back and forth. All right? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
3. Well, no, 2. It says such as one caught up to the third heaven.
Go ahead.
And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell.
Go ahead.
The most I know it.
Right.
How that he was caught up into
So he
paradise.
stated that third heaven is what? I
Paradise.
get Luke 23:43.
And it's Luke 23, 43. And Yahushua said unto him,
And Yahushua said it to who? The benefactor. Go ahead.
Verily I said unto you, unto thee, to the day shalt thou be with me in paradise.
So today you should be with me in paradise. So everybody, when they die, they go to the spiritual world. Everybody. But it's a difference though. You got the Israelites on the right hand side of the Most High, and you got the other nations on the left hand side. And even with the Israelites, the prophets will be separated from the 2/3. That's just how it is.
On earth as it is in
On
heaven.
earth as it is in heaven, man. It's a level. Yep. Finish up.
I finished this.
Go ahead.
2 Corinthians 12 and 4. How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which is not lawful. Sorry, which is not lawful for man to utter.
So the setting of the spiritual world is so I- the setting in the Hey, but you know how you get back and say, don't get mad at me. Fuck you. What up? Yeah, but hey, the setting in the spiritual world was so beautiful, Apostle Paul couldn't even put it in words.
That's heavy. It's heavy because really, the apostles and most of the prophets of the Most High, they're very illustrative. So for you to not even say, for you to say I can't put it in words,
That's
you know?
heavy.
Yep.
I can read 5.
If I can make a quick point, it's like, I don't know if y'all have had like a near-death experience where you experience something like that, but hey, white light and like the most comforting peace, man. Now I recently had that experience like this year, but you know, it wasn't like a death scenario, it was more just like a vision that the Most High showed me real quick. It's white light, and I was like warm. But yeah, you can't really put it into words, man. It's just the most comforting thing that you can, like all the worries and thoughts are escaped. No stress, no nothing, man.
Makes sense, bro. That makes sense. But like you say, certain stuff a person has to experience it in order to believe, bro. I believe you, bro.
And I remember as soon as I came back, the feeling was escaping. Like I can't remember that feeling.
You know what? I don't know if I was dying, but I got attacked by demons when I first woke up. But then I feel like my spirit was leaving the earth. But as my spirit was leaving the earth, it's a certain feeling you get when you know you're leaving the earth. And it's the most liberating feeling. And it's a feeling that you don't feel when you're in your body. You know?
Hey, but that makes sense. And that's the reason why these babies be crying once they enter the matrix.
You love paradise.
They love paradise.
Welcome to shit.
You know?
Ecclesiastes 3 and 20. I'll go into one place.
All go to one place. Go ahead.
All are of dust, and I'll return to dust. Hold up. Yeah, all of are of dust. I'll return to dust again.
Right, because we was made from the earth. So therefore, in the end, once your body starts to decompose, you return back to the dust.
And verse 21, who knows the spirit of man goes upward.
So the spirit of man goes upward. Why? Because the spirit of man has to be judged, and the spirit of man will be at peace. Go ahead.
Right. And the spirit of beast that goes downward to the earth.
Right. So what happens? So when a beast dies, it comes back. That spirit comes back on earth. Why? Because beasts are in order. Man is not.
They're not gonna get judged.
That's right.
Yeah, he's gonna get you.
That's right. That's right.
They do whatever.
This Daniel 12 and 13, but go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the day.
I know you're gonna get Revelation. Get the one in Revelation. That goes to show you Daniel was who? John your Revelator.
And like you're saying, like the spirit, every spirit go back to the spirit world. Because Most High be strategically placing certain spirits in the earth for the particular judgment. Like in this last time, like the Americans is the worst of the Edomites. How you know? Because this is gonna be the place of worst destruction.
Right.
You know, so they don't tell you what the spirits of these Edomites in America have did over their reincarnation, man. You know, and they here for that particular judgment. Them niggas that killed, that delivered Yahweh shot of pilot, them niggas here in America, man.
And that's why the Most High set up the prophets to be so boisterous. When these Edomites walking past through the camp, they hearing the worst. That's their judgment, man. They got blood on their hands.
That's why it's gotta come out.
That's
You got you guys trying to say too that the scripture in the Apocrypha that say be not curious of how the ungodly, you know, he ain't telling us not to come out here and be the judgment of the wicked. It's all through the scriptures to tell you to be the judgment of the wicked, man. To execute the judgment written. Right, to bind their kings with come on, man, why is that written that we ain't supposed to come out here and proclaim?
All right.
You know, in the spirit of the prophet, subject to the prophets. That's how so many, prophets in America. There's prophets all over the world, but the bulk of the prophets is in Babylon. Why? Because the
Chief
Lord
place of judgment.
dispatch, all right, those spirits to Babylon.
Right.
You know?
And the more we prophesy through the spirit of Yahweh Shemashah, the more that judgment is becoming bigger and greater.
Hey, that's why Yahweh said the kingdom of heaven is within you. The more that we prophesy, the more this place is torn down, the closer that the physical kingdom of heaven comes. You know?
That kingdom is what? It's truth.
Yeah.
It's a form of judgment.
The truth got to come out.
That's right.
The prophecies have to come out before judgment comes.
That's right.
You know?
You have to give a sentence.
You have to give a sentence.
Let's look at the words. It's like you write down a sentence.
Yep.
It's the same, the statement. But before in court, you give a sentence, but it's the judgment, then a physical judgment happens. So this is the Most High giving a sentence to the heathens, starting with Esau.
That's right. That's right.
It's John 10, makes like this is Revelation 10 and 11. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings.
That's how you know that Daniel was John. But what we're trying to prove through the spirit is the process of reincarnation. I got one more for our pass. Give me Ecclesiastes 1 and 3.
I got it.
Ecclesiastes 6 and 2.
I got one too.
You got one to hit
I
me
had
up?
Ecclesiastes 3.
I got you.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 4.
Right?
One generation passes one generation passeth away, and another generation cometh. But the earth abideth forever.
Right, so the earth abides forever. So the only thing that's going to be destroyed is what? American rulerships. And Israel is going to be burned up, but the difference is between America and Israel, Israel will be inhabited again, restored. Okay, but America would never be restored. Okay, America is that Holocaust, that final burn offering. Right? Go ahead.
The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down,
Right?
and hasteth to the place where he rose.
So basically, King Solomon, through the Spirit, is telling you the cycle of the sun. All right? Go ahead.
The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuit.
So his second case example is the wind, letting you know that the wind has a cycle. Go ahead.
All the ruins run into the sea.
All the rivers run into the sea. This is the third case example. Go ahead.
Yet the sea is not full.
Go ahead.
Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again.
Okay, so we got three case examples: the sun, the wind, and also the rivers, which proves that these elements has what? A cycle. Go ahead.
All things are full of labor, man cannot utter it.
Right?
The eye is not satisfied with seeing.
So although you see the sun in its cycle, you see the rivers in its cycle, you see the wind in its cycle, but man still can't understand the full process of it. Go ahead.
Were the ears filled with hearing?
Go ahead.
The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the
Now
sun.
read that again.
The thing that hath
The
been,
thing that happened, go ahead.
it is that which shall be.
Now get Ecclesiastes 6 and 10.
And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
So a key point, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be. Get Ecclesiastes 6 and 10.
And Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. That which had been is named already.
That which has been named, rewind that, sorry.
This is Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. That which has been named already.
That which has been named already, go ahead.
It is known
It is known,
that it is man.
it is named.
Man, coming back to the reincarnation.
There you go. So now, let's do it again. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done. Hold on. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. Now read your part.
This Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. That which have been is named already.
That which has been is named already. Go ahead.
It is known that it is man.
So man is what on reincarnation. That's the process of reincarnation.
Back in the flesh.
Back in the flesh. Then it states in verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? So a newborn baby is not new. Why? Because that spirit is from old, right? It have been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So now it makes sense when they asked John the Baptist, was he Elijah? He didn't know. But Yahushua knew, because he had total access to the Spirit.
Just like he knew that the spiritual one, he said, you will not in this mountain, nor the mountain alone.
Yup.
So that you ain't gonna, you ain't gonna receive salvation.
Exodus 14:35. For after death shall the judgment come.
So after death, you get judged. Meaning what? You go to the spirit world, you stand before Yahushua.
And you receive your sentence.
Yup.
And then what does it say in Ecclesiastes? It refers to the earth as the place of judgment. Under the sun. I looked under the sun.
that's
I
what I
saw
got.
a place. Oh, my God, bring it out.
Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 15. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And the Most High required that which is past.
And that's on a absolute level of Esau. And it's on man's life. Your actions on the earth. When you go to the spirit world, your actions on the earth are going to be required from the Most High. What did you do in that body of yours, man? All right?
Verse 16, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment.
I saw under the sun the place of judgment. Earth is the place where judgment transpires, man.
In hell.
Where it takes place. Yep. So earth is the place of judgment. All right? Because you receive the judgment in the spirit world, but you come back in a different body, and and the judgment takes place, man.
That's right.
Let's explain why you'll be born retarded.
Right.
Or you'll be born with missing limbs or something, man.
It's just like when they take you to court, you get sentenced in the courtroom, and then they ship you off to the penitentiary.
Right.
That's where you serve your sentence at.
And then they give you that prison suit.
They give you that prison suit.
Yeah, you know.
Slam that cell.
Yup.
It's just like, just an example, like in Philadelphia, the 2-year-old Jacob got kidnapped, the 4-year-old Jacob got kidnapped by the police, you know, because on the night of the full moon. So, you know, more than likely, part of a sacrifice or a ritual.
Yeah.
But their spirit was placed in their body just for that moment, for their moment of judgment, man. Like, you know, all these kids are going missing, you know, their spirits were placed in those bodies to get kidnapped, get tortured, and be a sacrifice, man. That's part of it.
Jacob on this wild shit being judged with his gangs and this wild evil shit. All right, these are the ones that curse the prophets. These are the ones that curse the Howard shot. His blood be upon our offspring. So now it's taking place, man. All right?
That's right.
These are the people that was cursed by Jeremiah.
You know, in Jeremiah 17:1, and the Most High hasn't forgotten it.
You got a pregnant woman in India. She was pregnant. She got ran over by a large vehicle to the point where the baby was ejected from her body. You know? But the Most High gave a sentence. But it tells you a bird don't fall out the sky without out of the Most High.
Yeah.
It's called omnipotent, omnipotent, all powerful. So the Most High gave a sentence in the spirit world, and those zealous angels executed their judgment. Because the Most High gives a judgment, and those angels execute their judgment. Eminently.
And they be bidding for it.
Yup, they be bidding for it, man.
Like, I would do such and such.
Yeah. I will be a lion spirit.
Yup, they cool, man.
I will finish to say that wickedness, talking about the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there, man.
Yeah. And it's, no, go ahead.
I would say, because just to show you, going back to Job 9 and 24, and say the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. So the place of judgment is earth, but it was given into the hands of the wicked, because the rightful judges of the earth are the Israelites. Man. That's why I say when you go to Sirach, the 10th chapter, it say in due time he will put one in the seat that's profitable. The power of the earth is in the hands of the Lord, and in due time he will put one, set one up that's profitable.
Going back into what Genesis the 27th chapter, the rulership of Esau.
The fatness of the earth.
That has to play out.
Yep.
Because this understanding, it also takes emotions out the equation. You see? Because you understand, all right, how the Most High operates in the earth, man.
That's right.
You know, you see a little child get mauled by a bear. Well, you know, back in the world, you spend like there and it's sad.
Happened
like
to that little baby.
Yeah. But now, the first thing you think of now is fuck he did.
Fuck he did.
His parents like
Hey,
that.
Bobby Charles, their latest incident, he got lynched with a beat up, just like Emmett Till.
Yup.
Like, judgment for the Lord. It's like, yeah.
I mean, I still get hot.
Yeah.
You know, we still get back to Esau, but we do know that, you know, it uplifts the Most High.
Yeah.
You know, because the Most High have not let the righteous forsake.
That's
You
right.
know, so hey, the elect don't get found like that. You still make another point before that, though.
I was just saying, the parents would have their innocent Joe for us.
Whoever perish being innocent.
Whoever perished being innocent.
You gotta scripture.
Hey, this Psalms 37 and 28. For the Most High loveth judgment, and forsake not his saints.
So when you love something means what? You execute it. That's all it means. It means he executes judgment. What y'all shall say, if you love me, do what? Feed my sheep. You know?
And forsake not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked should be cut off.
If we preserve forever, that means what? Lord willing, we don't hope to let we come back within our life.
And I was going to bring out this precept, Sirach 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance.
And then you got, you know, the actual death angels. You know, with death angels can possess people too, man. That's right. You know, so you got certain spirits, you know, that they are created just for vengeance, man. You know, just to carry out their bidding of the vengeance of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah. Hey, the brother of our wall in Alabama made a beautiful point, like everything is a part of the Lord's military, of the Lord's army. Like you can be allergic to wasps, he can send a wasp to take you out, man. The Most High, he orchestrated this. So everything is a part of the vengeance of everything. Like a tire come off a car and hit your ass and you die. That's part of the Lord's order. He orchestrated this. Hold on. You know? What the scripture with the William South? How his spirit is in everything. You know?
I got one. So Rock 18 and 3. Who governed the world with the palm of his hand.
And he governed the world with the palm of his hand. Hey, the Most High is the ultimate mob boss, man.
That's right.
You see? He doesn't move, man. He
He's
makes
determined.
move. Yeah, that's why when you go into the ancient of days, what did you have? You say you had 10,000 ministering unto him.
Yeah.
Those are the angels waiting on the business.
That's right.
Waiting to what he needs to
got
do.
for me?
Yeah. So he just keep sending them out. You know, you go play on the leaders of Iran. You know, you go play on the leaders of Russia. All right? Hey, you go to this hood, you start this beef. So all these niggas can die. You know? Most High, he governed with the palm of his hand. See, Esau, he tried to imitate that. But see, the Most High is really the one behind the puppet master, man. You know?
That's why he want that chip.
Yep.
So that'll give him full access to be able to imitate it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish it because you said, hey, I was wrong. The brother in Birmingham, he said everything is a military for the Most High. I'm gonna get it. So Rock 18 and 3 again. Who governed the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will.
All things obey his will.
Rust, ants, that tire,
Yep.
that broken glass that cuts you up.
They got a song with Bun B and Papoose called 6 Million Ways to Die. Hey, Papoose first, it goes right into every spirit's created for vengeance. I know it's rap, but just hey, link it up.
But no, yeah.
You know, hey, so
Hey,
yep.
Hey, the Most High controlling Papoose.
Yeah.
He made him think of those thoughts to say it.
Papoose is very illustrative with that.
And that's a TV show too. It's like a movie.
Yeah. So they showed you the nation shows you can escape.
You can escape it.
It's gonna come back around.
Yeah, one scene he tried to kill himself with a gun.
And the bullet wouldn't go off.
It wouldn't go off. And that's in the scripture say you should seek death and death should not find thee, man.
Hey,
Don't
man,
control
like,
those death, man.
what's the little chick named Tamar Braxton? She tried to commit suicide.
Lord to die, Lord.
Trying to OD.
She tried to do something, but it didn't work. Nah, you gonna be here for this shit. They can talk. You know?
So Rock 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes.
Hey, their fury lay on sore strokes, man. Hey, because the death angels, like you say, they are completely emotional, man.
Because folks are with the death Lord.
Yeah. Hey, when you see certain people that have that no emotion, that's really the death angel that took over, man. You know, because the death angel has no emotion, man. They lay on them sore strokes, man.
It's
See?
like, you got it. I was gonna say that like earlier this week, Hurricane, what was it, Ada, had brought up a big ass alligator on the golf course down there in Florida. You know, it was just creeping on through, just walking on through. Like
I saw that.
you
That was
saw
a big
that-
ass
that
alligator.
motherfucker was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, and like it didn't get nobody then, but it's gonna come a day. We know Most High, that's a spirit created with vengeance. It's gonna get on somebody's ass.
It didn't even look real.
And that
Yeah, it really didn't look real.
The alligator had a spirit on it.
Yeah.
It had that demeanor like, nah, this is my golf course.
My golf course.
You know?
This is how I was walking.
In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them.
It said appease the wrath of him that made them. So it's appeasing to you how Bashim Al-Shah, the death that he's finna bring. Because what he said to the death angel in Ezekiel 9 and 4, he said, do it in my hearing.
My hearing.
He wanted to hear that
Wanna hear
screaming.
it, man.
All right, that suffering, that pure terror.
agony.
That agony, man.
Verse
You know?
29,
Yeah.
fire. That's a spirit.
right.
All right, and the proof on that, the book of Job. When the Most High made that bet with Job, with spiritual even Satan, and Most High said, do what thou wills for Job. All right, what happened? Hey, fire struck from heaven. Those are spirit. All right?
And look how far it becomes when you feed it. Like you put stuff into it like wood or, just it gets bigger and bigger and pops.
Yeah.
You know?
Fire and hell and famine.
Yeah.
So your crops drying up as a damn demon.
Yeah.
It's judgment.
Them hell balls.
Yup.
Yeah, they say whenever a house is haunted, one of the signs is, take a look at the house plants. You'll notice that the house plants are starting to wither.
I'm gonna tell you something. That's the spirit. That's the. I talk about it because it's a long story, but that's the spirit. All right. Sirach 29 and 39 and 29. Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts. Going back to the allegory. Hey, in point, those Edomites in the feed, use Jake as bait for those gators in Florida. We want to show you those women judging for the Most High. Because the Most High allows things. God damn, man. Anyway, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents. You got serpents like in the Amazon and Brazil. They bit Edomites to the point where they had to learn how to read and write over again. They bit them to the venom was like a level of stroke. So much brain damage, you got to relearn the elementary ways of learning. Yeah, but it says, yeah, your motoring skills. Sirach 39 and 30. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction.
The gun, the knife, the bow, the missiles, the arrow, Esau.
The Lord's spirit and all those things, man.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, that's why the scripture say Esau gonna be like a madman sparing none. Who gonna put him in the spirit of a madman? Because right now Esau kind of turned down, man. You know, showing that the Most High, he controls the earth in the palm of his hand, man.
He's the father of spirits.
Look at all these people, look at all this tension in the earth. You got all these people out here with these rallies, with these guns, but not too many people getting shot.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because the Lord ain't turned their spirit on. You gonna know when the Lord turned their spirit on, man. Because the Most High is gonna what they say in Ezekiel 25:12, get that? You know? But he's gonna put his spirit on Esau to destroy 2/3, and then he's gonna put his anger on the house of David to handle Esau, man.
And if I can just back you up, you have to understand the term the Most High. The Most High means the Most High.
Nobody's higher.
Nobody is higher than him. He's the Most High. So basically, when you go into what the Book of Kings, and when we read about like that last spirit, you actually had angels on one council, on the left hand, on the right hand side, bending to him. He is on that elevated platform. He is the Most High. But Yahweh Shah is second in command. So when he came and did his thing successfully, he's on the right hand side of the Most High. But Yahweh Shah still answers to the Most High.
Hey, back up. Deuteronomy 32nd chapter, like 40, he said, I lift up my hands to heaven and say, I lift up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I was gonna say, even when you go into the name of the Most High, Yahweh, right? It means He exists, but He is existence. Everything exists because of Him. So when you really go into it, everything exists because of the Most High.
That's heavy.
I got a real quick precept. That's real quick. Psalms 24:1. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein.
Doesn't it go to Yahweh Shah in the Colossians? Through him all things persist. You know? Sirach 39, read the last verse. Going back to the angels of judgment, verse 31. They shall rejoice in his commandment. They shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they should not transgress his word.
They not gonna bag out. Like your boy, Scarface. He said, I ain't killing no kids. Death angels, they ain't got that mindset. They killing kids, dogs, politicians. All right, preachers, they don't give a damn, man. You know, they not gonna transgress, man. Whenever you get green light by the Most High, you through, man. You know.
This Psalms 35 and 6. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord persecute them.
Woo, let the angel of the Lord persecute them, man.
Persecute goes into pursuit. And what Jay used to say, chase you off the face of this earth.
Yeah. Hey, matter of fact, another Proverbs, I think 17, the last verse. But get that Ezekiel 25 and 12.
And then Ezekiel 25 and 12. Let's say the Most High power, because Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and venged himself upon them.
Yeah, because Esau took it too far. We was giving it to his hand, but he showed no mercy. And he took it too far, man. There was a certain time when Esau supposed to let up, man.
Yeah.
You know, but he's constantly has this perpetual hatred for the children of Israel, even when Jake, because Jake been at peace with Esau, man. Yeah. Like when Jake got out of slavery, Jake didn't go for him a mission to try to overthrow Esau. Jake used to look at his own, he had community. That's where you get the Black Wall Street, the Rosewood. That was Jake trying to live, you know?
Hey, but what did Esau do? He transferred us from private slaves to corporate.
Yeah, this was the Underground Railroad, Harriet Tubman, you know?
Yeah, because per scripture, Apostle Raphael was going into that this week, that we supposed to be released from debt every 7 years. But now with Esau, that shit still ties up.
You know what? Going back to Black Wall Street and Rosewood, spirits credit for vengeance. One of those spirits is benefiting through the sword, so they dropped those bombs on Black Wall Street. That was really the Most High saying, nah, this ain't your kingdom.
That's right.
This ain't your ranch. You're not finna build here.
That's
Same
right.
thing with Rosewood. They burnt up Rosewood. And hey, one of the spirits was what? Fire. So that was really the Most High judging them.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna build here. This is for your punishment.
Yeah.
Because Esau was a prison. Esau was a prison warden. He's a warden over this prison system, over the Most High's prison system.
This is Isaiah 45 and 7. It says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
He controls both sides. You know, both sides is complete balance. You know, everything is in complete control, man. He controls both sides of the game, man. You know, hey, he's a real originator of funding both sides of the war, man. You know, with the least, you know, what they do. I finish that Ezekiel 12, read down some more, bro.
And it's Ezekiel 25 and 13. Therefore said the Most High power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom.
Yep.
I will cut off man and beast.
That's beginning with Howard shot. That's Most High stretching out his hand. See, go ahead.
From it, and I will make it desolate
That's that nuclear destruction that's gonna make this place desolate and get Howard shot. Go ahead.
from Timon and date of that
Dan.
the den
Yep, go ahead.
shall fall by the sword.
Go ahead.
Verse 14. I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hands of my people of Israel, and they should do to Edom according to my anger.
They gonna do to Edom according to my anger. Because you gotta think the destruction of America, you know, and the EU and the NATO and the systems, they're just the beginning. They're just the overthrow. But Esau gonna get judged their whole 1,000 years. And the Lord said he's gonna judge them according to his anger. So we're gonna be possessed with the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Shai to carry out vengeance, man. You see? The Lord gonna put his anger on us, man. You know, when it comes to the kingdom, man. And Esau gonna catch it, man. You know, just like he put his anger on Esau to do all those atrocities to us, man. Guess what? It's gonna come back. He's gonna put his anger on us to carry out the judgment on Esau Edom, man. You know? What would make a man, you know, tie a man to a horse and separate his limbs, man? You know? Cut out the women's babies and stomp them out. You see, chop Jacob in pieces and feed him to the dog. Esau was possessed, man. This man was possessed, man.
Not to mention, I mean, he's a demon in himself. Most High just turned the spirit up, man. You know, Esau was he was vowed from the beginning. Like you said, the Most High never charged him to commit those acts.
I got a quick point. This is Isaiah 55 and 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, said the Lord. So, hey, that's a magnificent things is for the Lord to say, according to my name. Because we don't know how mad the Lord is. I mean, he reveals, a glimpse of it through the scriptures. But really, like, we can't meditate the terrors great enough for Esau.
I ain't I can debate somebody today. I'm cool with you. And I ain't like that. And I ain't like my shot. Ain't nothing like that. I thought he thought he weighed like that way, you know what I'm saying?
Even with the Esau law, he have an understanding of it because let's say you walk in, someone knocking a woman down, you kill both of them, what they call crime of passion. Because what? Cause you see that you possess now.
Yeah.
Really, that's the righteous anger of the Lord upon you of seeing that act. You know, and you carry out that judgment. That's why a lot of them say, I don't even remember. You know, because you were possessed with that moment. Carry out that judgment.
A lot of fights you was in. So I don't know, I can't speak for every brother. Some of the fights you was in, you really don't remember you fight.
Right.
Yeah. You know, you like, I don't really remember what I was doing in the fight. People might say, man, you beat that dude ass. You like, all right. You know, but you, hey, you know.
I got this. Get this proverb. And preach, you gonna like this.
And according to my theory, and they should know my vengeance, said the Yahweh Shah.
Yeah, you gonna understand how mad the Lord is when you see the daily life of the Edomite kingdom. That's gonna show you how mad he was with Esau and all the shit he did on the earth, man. You know? You gonna know then, man. Just like, hey, we see the Lord's anger upon us, man. You see?
It's Proverbs 17 and 11. An evil man seeketh only rebellion.
Hey, an evil man seeketh only rebellion, and that begins when you saw evil. You know? Then it begins with the wicked of our people. They seek only rebellion. Only how to rebel, man. You know? And rebel means to go back to war.
Witchcraft.
You know? Yeah. Rebellion means witchcraft.
And hopefully you're deviated from the law. You know? It's like you're resisting the law, right? You know? It's a simple man.
Let's see what the conclusion of a rebellious man. Go ahead.
Therefore, a cruel messenger shall be sent against him.
A cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Now get that word messenger, man. You see? I'm telling you.
A lot.
A lot. You know what?
It says, one messenger, representative, a messenger be angel.
Angel. So a representative, an angel, will be sent to you, man. The Most High is the ultimate hit maker, man.
That's where you get the term a dispatch from. Something that's dispatch?
Yeah.
Or an angel, most high dispatches angels for his judgment. One sent. You know? That's how, because as it is in heaven, right? When King Solomon was in power, he had his right hand man, his servant. He'll tell him what? Fall upon him. Fall upon him, man. Yep. So in the spirit world, the Most High has millions of angels for that, man. No?
And I was just going to add to it. You go into that word malak, it's Hebrew. But also, that we got it because one time, about a year or two ago, I was in Walgreens, and the lady that worked the register, she was from the Middle East, and her name was Malak. So before I knew Malak, I also meant the angel. I said, Malak mean king, don't it? She said, nah, it also mean angel. So I'm like, so we got the Hebrew.
Hey, it's a representative, man. Hey, the Most High got unlimited numerosity, man. You know? And they don't die, you know? So, hey, in this time, man, the Most High, they go trouble, man, the Most High gonna send a lot of representatives to you, man. All right, the evil woman, you know? Esau evil. There's gonna be a lot of representatives sent out of that day, man.
Hey, can I read the next verse too? Verse 12. It said, let a bear robbed of her whelps beat a man rather than a fool and his father.
Fool and his father. You know how he said a bear robbed of her whelps, man? Because a female bear is very aggressive, man. And that's how they describe the house of David. You know, when Absalom got that counsel from the elder, Shishai, you know, and he told Absalom that Absalom was getting hyped up. Like, yeah, go pursue the father. They were telling him, yeah, go pursue the father. You know, you can kill him in his bed. But society was like, look, that ain't no good idea. Say, you know the manner of father, the manner of man your father and men are, man. They chase in the spirit. They like a bear rider her cub, man.
Gotcha.
You know?
This is 2 Samuel
Yep.
17 and 8.
They
For it said, Hushai, thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty men,
Yep.
and they be chafed in their
They
minds.
be chafed in their mind. See? And that's the spirit of the house of David. See, the picture that Esau painted you with the prophets, this feeble Edomite about to die, speaking old English, you know? No, man. All right? These men are chafed in the spirit, man. What you had? What Elisha, Elijah, Elisha had the 12 ox, you know? You know how strong you gotta be to ox.
Oh, okay, it's about that.
Yeah, when they found him, he was, hey, the prophets are really men, man. Man's men.
And then going back to Beryl robbed of her wealth, that was the little nigga was trying to climb Elisha.
Yep.
And he cursed them, and the Most High put them sheep bearers, and it said sheep bearers.
Yeah.
So they came in a wrath, there's no somebody who robbed their cubs.
Yeah.
All the blue ones.
Yeah.
That's a spirit created for vengeance, teeth of wild beasts.
Yeah.
You know?
He said that the sheep bear swallowed them whole.
Wow. Wow. And you know what? Going back to possess, animals are possessed. Because the Most High sent a spirit of vengeance on the animal.
Yeah.
Like when those demons, they asked the Most High, they asked Yahushua, where can we go? Because we're not in this man anymore. Or then Yahushua put them in those swine.
Yeah.
Those swine start bugging out and drown, but you can possess an animal to execute your will, man. The Most High can.
They can, and it works on the flip side, like Daniel in the lion's den.
Yep. Yep.
Because the Most High has power over animals, he can protect you from those vicious animals.
Because he said like an angel muzzled their mouths until the effect. You know, he made the spirit docile.
Yeah, until the people that put them in there came to get them out. They turned on them.
Hey, Jacob, something gonna be hell, man. You gotta think about how many people got dogs and shit in their house. You know, my big ass dogs, you know, Great Danes and stuff.
Days in the wood. You gotta think how much, you know, this, how much forestry surrounds us. You know, we don't know what's all out there.
Hey, actually, I remember when I was in Hawaii, me and the brothers out there went in on it. It was America is the #1 place. Like they have more exotic animals than there are in the wild.
Yeah.
Like tigers and lions. Like you got these low-level millionaires that like to collect those exotic animals like tigers and bears and wolves and stuff. They got a whole it's like a exotic pet food that they can just got, and they say that there's more animals in America than there are in the wild like that. So, yeah. The Most High said.
But their judgment, though, hey, like I say, we don't know what's out there. You know?
When the Most High, makes things pop off like that tomorrow, and we see rhinos running, stampeding through the Jumanji.
There's
There's a lot of juniors in America, man.
Hey, safaris out now. There's a lot of safaris now too. So it's like wild animals just chilling here.
Hey, you know, make me the brother. The scripture, like the definition with the definition. Yeah, it showed how laying on the cabin, he got close to that bear. What is it like? What was it like? You just like basically. Definition.
Bear robbed
Yeah.
Robbed them of cubs.
And I guess he got close to that cub, and she fucked him up. She fucked him real bad. So that's how they get down. You get close to somebody like that's anything. Like you get close to like an alligator or anything like that, to a liquid cub, whatever. They gonna protect it. They gonna protect their.
It's just like you see a nigga coming up on your kid.
That's right.
But think of an animal that's not really,
right.
that's not civilized. It's gonna get you with a beast like snake.
They're strict.
That's just nature.
Yeah.
That's just nature. Like you walk in on a man or woman.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you walk in, a man busting your woman. Just nature is kill their ass. Kill them. In the act.
Raised them a man.
That's right.
Hebrew is mar, and it means bitter. It means powerful, raging, can be opposed to sweet, destructive.
Hey, that's the spirit that the Lord will put on the house of David. Hey, when that Stanley get lifted, that's gonna be the spirit that's gonna be on both. You know, the Lord say He has sent for many Christians. You know, now He gonna send for hunger. It's gonna be that bitter, chaste spirit that He gonna put, you know, on the brothers, man, because that's the same house of David, man. You see?
Another definition, bro, it got pernicious. You know what that means? It means tending to cause death or serious injury.
Yeah, and you gotta think, King David would have to be possessed, man. You know, killing tens of thousands of men. You know, he had to be possessed. You know, to be a conqueror, when you start conquering nations, there has to be a certain spirit on you, man.
Yeah.
You see? And that's the spirit the Lord gonna tap into, man. You know?
That's why, what's his name? Samson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spirit of the Lord came
Spirit
on.
that came upon him. And he killed some shit, man.
You just said something heavy. You said he was a man of war, like King David. We'll finish the scripture on him. And thy father is a man of war and would not lodge with the people.
Not lie, hey, because King David, as soon as he got the tip what Absalom was up to, the first thing he did, and he went back to his nature. Because King David started on the run with Saul. So he knew the woods and the wilderness, like the guerrilla warfare and shit. He was an expert at that. So him and his men that were loyal to him, most likely them same 400 men that gathered to him before he became king, they went back out there in the woods. That's why, what's his name, Hushai, you know, he was like, look, that ain't what you want to do. Because he threw King David, they were back in their element. They were like, you don't want to go out there. You've been raised in the palace.
Right.
Like, you don't want to go out there with them guys, man.
I mean, while he had to leave his palace and go back to that old element.
So you know he was bitter, guys. Yeah.
Troy, boy, trying to fight Achilles.
Yeah.
We trying to fight the king, king brother.
Nah, it wasn't a chance.
Talking about Paris and
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh yeah, he got emasculated. He found for his brother. We talking about the same thing. He was on his knee like, brother. Like, bro, you got him. You know.
I gotta say something, but Paris lost from the jump. Brother, tell her, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, like, focus on the fucking fight. How about the bitch?
He should have killed that nigga on the boat. Man.
That's what I would have did. Then he on the bed and shit. You think I'm a coward, don't you? I'm like, you did it for love. It's like,
He was like, nigga,
You didn't turn it on, turn it all around.
he was a sucker, bro.
turn it around like he gonna do some proud me.
Yeah, whip that jab.
I got something when you were saying that King David was, possessed to kill. This is Psalms 144 and 1. Blessed be the Lord, my strength, which teacheth my hands to war.
Yeah, the Most High taught King David hands to war. Hey, that's another thing. The Most High, you ain't got no, you ain't got to be no fighter, but the Most High can download your spirit.
Like the Matrix.
The Matrix or limitless too.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And it's Jeremiah 51 and 20. Thou art my battle axes and weapon of war.
Yeah, hey, the Most High, he saw with his sword. See, now he's going to turn Israel to his battle axe and weapons of war. All right? To what? To carry out his judgment in the earth, man. You got it.
For with thee I will break peace. I will break peace. I will break in pieces the nations.
Yeah, with thee, he going to break in pieces the nation, man. And through the men of the Lord, all right, that same house of David, they conquered heathens back in the ancient world. He's going to do the same thing again, man. You got it.
And with thee, I will destroy kingdoms.
And with thee, we will destroy kingdoms, man. All right? So the Most High is going to do a mighty work through the house of David, man. And that's what we waiting on, man. That's why, still having ambitions in America is a real low-level way of thinking, man. Here it is, the Lord talking about for a battle axe, to destroy kingdoms, and you can't leave the club alone. Yeah, you rallying behind Sleepy Joe, man. Showing you that, hey, if you got ambitions in this world, you can't believe what the Bible say, man. This shit dead, this low level, man. Esau got you in the box, man. You can only get so far, man. No, we out that box, man. All right? We finna take down kingdoms through the name of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah under our Savior Yahweh Shah, man.
And with that, we hope you brothers are edified. Once again, we want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah Bashim Al-Kadash. Double honor to our apostles, great millstone, rule well, and peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. And with that, a bomb! Come down, shalom! How about Shalom? Shalom.